This video intended for educational purposes. Whoa! Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimmingbird, and welcome back to Minecraft. We are in beautiful new Minecraft 1.7. This is Snapshot 13W36A, and this is probably the biggest Minecraft update that we're gonna get, or we've gotten so far. There are a ton of new features, and so many so that I've divided this week's snapshot into 2 videos. So if you want to see stuff like the new flowers and stuff, how to get player heads in game with vanilla, how to summon giants, that type of stuff, go check out the other video. But this video is completely devoted to the new biomes here, and there are a ton of them, as you can see, and I've set up command blocks to warp to them. So let's go into it, and I'll talk about each one. Now, there are a bunch of new biomes, and there's also rare variations of biomes that we already have, so I'll go into all of them as we go. So without further ado, we're going to head to the Taiga and the Mega-Taiga. Now, here we are in the beautiful new Taiga. This is also known as the Redwood Forest. As you can see, we've got some thick spruce trees here. There's mossy cobble that spawns around, so it's a little easier way to get mossy cobblestone. And down at the bottom here is what's known as Podzol. It's a new block called Pine Straw, and it will spawn naturally here. And I think it can spread through dirt and other stuff and kind of takes over a bit like a like the mushroom mycelium. And next to here is the taiga, so you get a nice real contrast here. And you might be saying this isn't the taiga. Well, it actually is, because the taiga is a bit different now. It doesn't have snow because there's other variations that have snow. So this is the old style taiga we used to have, and it is returned. And the trees can get a bit taller now, as you can see, like so a couple over here. There are some ones with very tall trees around, but this is mainly how the taiga is going to look now. So that's a cool little variation there. And that's just the default taiga, as you can see. But this one, the Redwood Forest, is called the Mega-Taiga in like the descriptions. A lot of them have biome names, and then they have like a name that is in the game code. So I'll tell you guys both of them so you can know both. Now here are a bunch of different ones all together, and we're starting in the plains variation. This is the sunflower plains, and it's just basically a plains with a ton of sunflowers everywhere. So that's a good way to get them if you want to get sunflowers. Right next to it, though, is one of the new really cool biomes. This was known as the Black Forest, but it's also called the Roofed Forest if you look in the little description there of the biome. And it is a biome with really thick trees. It has a bunch of the giant mushrooms throughout. And this is the kind of scary forest that if you head through, even during the day, you can probably see some enemies starting to spawn. So it's, see, there's a creeper already. So you gotta be very careful here, but this is gonna be an amazing source of wood. You can get mushrooms here very easily. It's a nice little magical forest. And again, these are all, you know, they might add to these. I'm hoping like maybe the witch spawns here or something, but this is our first snapshot, so of course they're probably gonna make some changes. But look how cool this is. It's like the Twilight Forest biome that has the covered trees, so you can't, you know, you can't really see the sky very well, and monsters spawn all over. And next to it is the Swamplands biome, which is a already existing biome, obviously, but they've made a lot of changes to it. As you can see, this one type of flower here, I think it's the blue orchid, spawns a lot around here. There it is. And it has a lot of differences. The first thing you probably notice is that the grass has a bit of a different like foliage color to it. It's not as dark. It's got a more like mossy kind of green to it, and I like it a lot more, I think. And it's also got some lighter variations. It can have a lot of color fluctuation, as you can see, like towards the center here it gets to be a more foresty green, and then it goes back. So yeah, and also peppered through are a lot more like smaller little puddles and stuff. There's been a lot of changes basically to make the swamp feel a little bit more nice, so it's not like a place that you don't want to go to. I know people like the old swamp, but I felt like these changes are pretty cool. So that's that, and we're gonna head on and go to the next one here. Now the next one is a variation on the forest and forest hills. It's the birch forest biome. So there it is. It's a giant forest filled with birch trees. So if you love the birch tree wood, there you go. And next to it is the birch forest hills. And this one's really cool. I like how tall some of these trees can get. It looks really nice on the hill here. But yeah, it's basically, those are just variations on the existing biomes we already have. Over here, the next one. Now this is a completely new biome here, and a variation, the Savannah and the Mesa Plateau. And I made a spawn in here right next to a horse to remind you guys that the savannas now spawn horses, not just the plains anymore. You can go to the savannah to get horses. And next to this savanna down here is the Savannah Plateau that I mentioned. It's a higher up savanna, and this is another way to get jungle wood. The same wood is used to spawn these acacia looking trees that kind of fan out and are really cool looking. So far no new animals or anything have been added to the update, but I'm hoping we get something like a lion or even like a mountain lion or something would be kind of cool, because that could go in like a bunch of different biomes. It wouldn't have to go just in the savanna. It could go in the mountains and stuff too. So this is the savanna biome, looking pretty cool. The grasses and leaves are kind of a similar shade to the desert if you have plants there, how the grass looks like that, but it transitions nicely into the plains over there. And you can also get villages in the savanna, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to move on here and we'll go on to the next biome. Next is the Mesa and Mesa Plateau. Now these are buggy right now. One of the developers, Grum, tried to go in and fix this. Now this is supposed to be the Mesa right here, this kind of like dirt area, and the Mesa Plateaus are supposed to be right next to it. But as you can see, there is nothing here, and then there's these weird floating islands. That's because all of this was supposed to be filled with the stained clay blocks, like different layers. This is basically the Disco Mountains that Jeb mentioned, and I'll put up a picture of what it's supposed to look like right here. But right now there's a bug where it's not generating, and Grum tried to fix it and do like a quick fix release, but it didn't seem to work because they're still not generating. But as you can see, you can see just how much stained and hardened clay you'll be able to mine from these areas, because look how huge this thing is. This is where it all would be. And then at the top you have a few layers of dirt with some trees and stuff that have a cool little darkened color to it, almost similar to the swamp. So that's going to be pretty awesome when it's actually working, but hopefully we'll have that by next week or whenever we get the next snapshot. So there's those biomes. We're going to move on here. So this is probably the coolest of the new biomes. I don't know, I don't want to say for sure because there's a lot of cool ones, but the Ice Plains and the new Ice Plains variation, the Ice Plains Spikes. So here's the Ice Plains, and you probably glimpsed it behind me. Behind me is the Ice Plains Spikes using a new block. I mentioned this in the other video. It's called Packed Ice, and it's used to make these crazy spikes that spew up all over the land. Some of them look like they're like man-made, like these towers. It really reminds me of the Ice Kingdom in Adventure Time. Like the Ice King would be living in one of these if they were a bit bigger. But yeah, these are really cool, and this is going to be the way you get the new Packed Ice block. Also, snow blocks here spawn naturally with the layers of snow, so that's really cool too. It's a way, I believe you have to use Silk Touch, but you can get a lot of these blocks. Now, the Packed Ice is pretty cool. If you break it in survival, it won't leave water behind. It will just, you know, break. And you also, it's opaque, so you can't see through it, which is kind of interesting compared to the normal ice. I can put a little comparison here. I touch on this a bit in the other video, but I want to kind of repeat it to show you guys here. There we go. So yeah, it's definitely not see-through compared to the normal ice. So there's those two variations there, and let's head back. Next up, we have Extreme Hills Plus. This is like Extreme Hills, but it's a bit crazier. It's got like a lot of rock, I noticed, to it. And this is a really good illustration of how the snow works now. So as I mentioned before, taigas don't have snow anymore. Snow, at least the normal variation of taiga, snow is now generated depending on elevation and temperature. So if you're in like a colder looking biome like a taiga or a hills or extreme hills or something, you will get snow more likely at lower elevations. So that's why there's snow around here. But if you were in like a desert or something, you would have to go super high to be able to find snow. So it's not possible, or it is, but it's like out of the bounds of the normal generation of land. So you won't see snow in those biomes. And it's just kind of a cool new way to add snow to higher peaks, but not to, you know, and it can spawn in a lot of different biomes now instead of just the specific ones that we had originally. But this is Extreme Hills Plus, and it's kind of interesting. Like this one's not too crazy. If you want to see crazy hills, stay watching, because at the end I'm going to go to the amplified biomes. Those are the sky worlds, so I'm going to do that later. But next to it we have another roofed forest here that looks pretty cool. So yeah, let's head back here. And some of the other biomes. The next is the deep ocean. Now, there's not too much to this yet, but we are we're at layer 24, and if we fly up, we can head up out of here into the deep ocean. Now, if you look, you can kind of see just how deep this ocean goes. It's a lot deeper than normal oceans, but it's not like crazy deep or anything. And I'm hoping that they're going to add some type of creature or more. You know, they added fish. I talked about that in the other video, but I'm like hoping they add, like Dinnerbone suggested, the Kraken boss or something cool to make us want to go to these oceans, because this is cool, but there's not much like making us want to go here. There's no like sponge or coral or anything to collect. And one thing I mentioned in the other video as well, but I want to show here, if you turn your graphics on fast, you can't see through the water. So make sure you remember that if you're going to play on fast. But I'm sure we'll have Optifine and stuff by the time this is released or whatever. So anyways, let's head back here. We've got a few more to show you guys. There's the cold beach and the stone beach. So these are pretty interesting. This is the cold beach, a little strip here. It is a snowy beach area. And we used to get these, I think, a little bit in the old terrain generation, but now we have these kind of like icy beaches here. And then the stone beach is really cool back here. It is it's basically what the cliffs are called in the game programming speak, and it's it'll be at the edge of a river or an ocean and another biome, and it's kind of a more abrupt cutoff, like a stony cliff that falls off into the water, and it looks pretty cool. You can get some really cool generated ones, like that one's really high, and it's got a little waterfall coming off of it. But yeah, these are going to be really cool, especially building like a fortress at the top of one of these like cliffs would be awesome. So yeah, that's another one of the new little variations here of beach. There's two of them there, like that I mentioned those two. And over here, so Desert M, Cold Taiga, Taiga and Savannah are all in this area. This is one thing I wanted to show you guys. So sugarcane now has a more bright green texture. It looks a bit more like bamboo, and it will actually variate like the color of the foliage or whatever depending on what biome you're in. So that's what it looks like in a desert. And if I was to fly over here, I'm gonna need like a water pail to do this, but I can show you what it looks like in the taiga real quick. If I throw this down, I believe this is the cold taiga. So this is the taiga variation that basically makes the taiga like we're used to it. It's a snowy, spruce filled area. So yeah, normally they're not supposed to generate right next to each other because of the new system that does temperature. Cold biomes and warm biomes aren't supposed to generate that close, but it does happen occasionally, and this is one of the little buffer areas that I found. So let's throw this water down, and I'll put some sugarcane, and as you can see, it's got like a more neon-y kind of weird green compared to the desert one, which I can like throw down right here so we can get a good look. So yeah, that has a more deep green, and then this one's like a paler green. So along with some of the other new plants that I mentioned in the other video, you can check out sugarcane is one of the ones that changes depending on which biome it's in, just kind of how leaves do. So Desert M, M stands for mountains. So this is the desert mountain biome. It's got a lot of sand, obviously, and there's a few funny generation things here. I like this little cliff that if I touch anything on it, it'll probably fall. But there are a bunch of other M biomes, and the desert's just one of them. And you can get a bunch of little mountainy things that are in the other biomes here. So yeah, the desert's the one that I found. And down here I tried to test just to see if grass grows in the desert, and it still does, so it spreads around. So we're gonna head back. I mentioned there's a savanna too, but I showed that in the other one. Let's turn this weather off. It's raining everywhere. And then so last but not least, I wanted to mention some of the other biomes that I didn't get to show. I couldn't find the flower forest biome, but it's basically just a normal forest with flowers everywhere. So that's going to be how you can find some of your flowers. And I believe if you do bone meal, you can get a lot of the different type of flowers popping up. But you'll have to check out the other video if you want to see all the flowers, because I talk about them in there. So yeah, there's a couple new ones there you can see. And some of the other biomes, so there's Savannah, Cliff, Redwood Forest, Roofed Forest, all that stuff, Extreme Hills Plus. So jungles, I'm not sure what the one jungle variation is, but there are some new features about jungles, like melons now spawn in jungles. So you can check those out and get melons without having to go into a mine shaft, so that's pretty cool. Another thing that I think I mentioned, or I might have noted, the ocean's floor now seems to be like 99% gravel. It's like everywhere down here, and sand is now resigned to like beaches and rivers and stuff, so sand's a bit more rare and gravel is way more common. This whole floor down here is gravel, so that's pretty crazy. Oceans take up a lot less space on the map though, especially in normal. You can make large biomes obviously if you want to make a bigger ocean. And then some of the other ones, the 4 categories of biomes that I mentioned are cold covered, no, not cold, snow covered, cold, medium, and dry/warm. So that was what I was mentioning before with the groupings. If you find a biome, it'll probably be grouped next to a similar type of biome in terms of temperature. So that's how they group them now. The other types of M biomes, mountain biomes, let's go into one of these other areas like this one, and we'll fly around so that we're flying in a more interesting area. So the other types of M biomes, maybe we'll find a flower forest, are Savannah M, Desert M, Roofed Forest M, and Extreme Hills Plus M. And the M stands for mountains, so you'll get a lot of cool little mountain variations. I'm going to put on F3 so we can tell what these biomes are. Right now we're in Roofed Forest. There seems to be a lot more lava in this in the new update too, so look out for that. So yeah, we're in Extreme Hills right here. This is a normal Extreme Hills, and I believe, yeah, Extreme Hills will now generate spruce on Extreme Hills Plus, sorry, is the one that generates spruce trees on top. So that's, you don't have to go to Taiga to find spruce trees. They'll be in Extreme Hills Plus. Some of the other things I wanted to mention too, so snow generates depending on the Y level, all that stuff. But yeah, these are most of the new biomes. Well, hopefully the Mesa will be fixed in the future, and we'll get that hopefully next week. And if I miss anything, like I mentioned I hadn't found the flower forest, and I haven't found another jungle to find some melons, but whatever things get changed, I will go back and I'll show you those in the next, snapshot update, and whatever changes they make. So thank you guys for watching. The last thing I want to show, I just want to look at this gorge. This is really cool. Gorges, I guess, like generate a lot more, I heard. So these are going to be all over the place, not just like ravines. So the last thing, we're going to exit out of this world, and I'm going to go to another world. I want to show you guys the new amplified terrain generation. So here we go. Hey, little sheep, and whoa! So this is the Notch basically wanted Jeb to keep this in the game because Jeb used it to test lighting levels, and this is amplified world. It makes all of your biomes extend way up into the clouds and above the clouds. So if you want like a cool sky world, basically, that goes up, it reminds me of like Pandora or whatever from Avatar. Like there's crazy cliffs, and you got to be very careful on these because you can die so easily. But it looks really cool. I love seeing like animals living. It's like, how did that sheep get all the way up here, other than it just generating like that? Whoa, I'm getting a crazy lag spike from generating new terrain. So this is one of the things that Jeb mentioned. It's he wasn't going to include this normally because you have to have a really powerful computer to even run it, much less generate new terrain. So it is very resource intensive. I'm obviously recording right now as I fly around, so I got to be careful about generating new terrain because it can screw up stuff. But look, we got some monsters, some flowers generating on the cliff there. That's really cool. But yeah, the amplified world, you would go into your settings here, and if you want to make a new world, you can just add more world options, and instead of doing super flat or large biomes, you do amplified, because it requires beefy computers. They say it's just for fun. And one last little thing here. Let's just hang out with this villager. How's it going, guys? What are you guys up to? Whoa! We are on the cliff of this sky village. So this is another amplified world, and look how crazy this is. This village generated really badly right at the edge there, and it's like all broken up and messed up there. But that can happen. You can get all of the new biomes, I believe, in the amplified world. Look at that cliff. That is so cool. All right. So, so you can get all the old and new biomes in amplified world, I believe. So, ooh, there's a roofed forest. I want to check this out. I can't not like just fly around and be like amazed looking at some of this generation. This is insane. There's a mushroom up there. Look at this stuff. I really want to build in one of these worlds. This is crazy. So yeah, this is a roofed forest generating all over this cliff here. Thank you guys for watching. Hey, little sheep. Sorry. Sorry, your life is now on that cliff. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, guys, and please go check out the other video, because like I said, I divided this snapshot into 2 parts because there were way too many features to cover in one video. It would have been like an hour long. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to end by jumping off here and trying to do a mega slam on the ground. Let me see if I can do it. I'll fly over here. And one thing I mentioned in the other video too, if you you hit control, you can now boost while flying in creative. So if you're going to fly around and look at new biomes, that's definitely a nice tip to go around a little faster. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time for more Minecraft 1.7 snapshot updates. And it didn't do it because I think I landed on like an edge or something weird. Oh well, let's do it one more time, and bam, there we go. Smashed all the leaves everywhere. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time for more Minecraft. Goodbye.